1982's Blade Runner was an iconic film for a reason. It pushed the boundaries of art direction, visual effects, and subject matter for a science fiction film. 35 years later, a sequel was made. And, well... For a long time, Blade Runner was an only child, but its influence and classic status meant that it was inevitable that someone would try to revisit the world created by Ridley Scott and company. That someone was director Denis Villeneuve. 2017's Blade Runner 2049 was the result, and upon release, it automatically turned the iconic 1982 original into Blade Runner 1, or, more unfortunately, Blade Runner. Like its progenitor, this sequel was visually lavish, yet at the same time failed to find an audience willing to see it on the big screen. Set 30 years after the original film, Earth ain't a nice place. Various disasters and a general move off-world have left behind a pretty grim and depressing place, which leads to a mostly grim and depressing movie. Replicants are in demand again, now produced by the Wallace Corporation, headed by this pretentious douchebag, played by Jared Leto. There are still rogue replicants to be hunted down by Blade Runners, such as the replicant K, played here by Ryan Gosling. K finds evidence of a child born to a replicant, and that sets off a race to find the child. K's superior Joshi wants him to get rid of any evidence, including the baby, because of the unrest such a revelation will cause, while pretentious douchebag wants the child for his own reasons. K finds evidence that for a time leads him to believe that he might be the child. Along the way, he bumps into Harrison Ford, who's gone into hiding by pretending to be a mouse.
Many is the night I dream of cheese.
The film, which had until now just been a film in the same universe, now becomes a direct sequel to Blade Runner. The child everyone is looking for is the child of Deckard and the now deceased Rachel. Films are often praised when they can tell a story economically. This film does not know how to do that, instead tells a story with profligacy. It's like a 3-hour podcast that spends the first 45 minutes talking about why this week's podcast is 3 hours later than usual, then 30 minutes about what show people have been binging on Netflix, etc, etc. Compared to the first film, the acting is much better and more consistent here, with the cast being uniformly excellent. Well, almost uniformly excellent. Even Harrison Ford seems less bored than usual. Maybe he was counting all the money he thought he was going to earn from his back-end deal.
35, 40 million, 60, 41 million, 40, 60 million, 45 million.
Sylvia Hoeks gives us love, a chilling executive assistant turned unstoppable Terminator, just like if you stuck an Echo on top of Robocop. Ana de Armas as Kay's AI girlfriend Joy is endearing, but also a little creepy, but still endearing, so she's either creepingly endearing or endearingly creepy. Take your pick. So obviously the notion of the cast all on the same page does not include pretentious douchebag, because whenever he appears on screen, I have a strong temptation to stop watching this and just go and watch old episodes of William Shatner's Tech War. Stylish. This film is incredibly stylish. It has beautiful art direction, a decent wannabe Vangelis score, but obviously nothing that every other Blade Runner inspired film and TV series hasn't been doing for 30 years. But it's just, it's marvellous to look at. But it's also dull. It's duller than a black hole with a matte finish and privacy glass. The unwillingness to tighten the edit leads to a film that is often ponderous and just dull. It's beautifully dull, but it's still dull. It's also 2 hours and 45 minutes compared to the tighter 117-minute runtime of the original. Blade Runner 2049 just outstays its welcome. I made a serious mistake on my first viewing of this movie, which was to see a late-night session, which meant I fell asleep a few times. I would wake up to see that I was still on the same scene, but I would have no idea if I was asleep for 10 seconds or 10 minutes. This film just goes on and on and on, like Celine Dion's heart. You can't really accuse Blade Runner 2049 of being a fun movie. Probably best to watch something else on date night. Blade Runner 2049 was an attempt to build on the legacy of the original film, and perhaps turn it into a viable franchise. The world of the original film really cries out for further exploration. But this film is odd, wants to be its own thing. It also wants to set up future sequels, but at the same time be a direct sequel to a film from 30 years ago, by bringing back its stars, one of them as an older man, and one digitally, for no other reason other than to show off, hey look, young Sean Young. Is Blade Runner doomed to be a financially unsuccessful but incredibly influential film series? maybe calling it a franchise is wrong, because honestly, it seems like investing in Blade Runner is about as smart as buying a used diesel Golf. Sure, you can do it, but putting your cash straight into a paper shredder would be faster. So if it's not a franchise, what is it? How about we consider these films as exhibits in an art gallery? Like the art gallery in your town that you always say you will go to but probably never go and visit. You're just happy that it exists. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, leave a comment below, or check out some of our other videos.